In April last year, I did what every young person dreams of. I quit my job. After years of working minimum wage, I finally walked away. No plan, no job lined up, just time. And here's the twist. Even with all that freedom, I was still unhappy. Today, I want to break down exactly why I left my job and the hard truths about quitting that no one talks about. It's weird though, after spending a year complaining about the job and how much I hate it, when I came to hand in my notice, I was somehow worried. What if I regret this? Is this really a good idea? That's when I realised just how dangerous comfort can be. Even when something makes you miserable, it's easy to stay just because it's familiar and the unknown is uncomfortable. Despite hating the job, it had become comfortable, a trap many people get stuck in for life. Before I left, some of my co-workers said, I bet you'll be back by the end of the year when you've run out of money. But nearly a year later, and I'm not broke yet. Still, that doesn't mean I had it all figured out. I've definitely learned a lot along the way. Before I quit, I'd seen people on Twitter making YouTube shorts by clipping celebrity interviews, and they were making money from it, and a lot of it too. So I gave it a go. After work, every day I would come home and make a short. A lot of days I couldn't be bothered, but I did it anyway. It took me 2 hours to do one short at first, but after a few months I had it down to just 30 minutes. Progress was slow. I went for weeks and weeks not getting many views at all, until suddenly a few videos blew up. And when I say blew up, I mean I was getting tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of views every hour. So it wasn't long after this that I hit YouTube's monetization requirements, 1,000 subs and 10 million short views in 90 days. I still remember the very first day that I got monetized. The next day I was at work, and on my break I checked how much money I'd made the previous day. And despite only being monetized from 9 AM on that first day, I had somehow made £90, which was almost a full day's wage for me at the time. Soon after though, views slowed down and I was now only making around £10 to £15 a day, which wasn't much of a problem. Luckily I had savings. To be honest, I wasn't really passionate about creating the content I was creating. The more I did it, the more I began to hate it. I was just focusing on getting one video a day uploaded, even if it was terrible. Eventually, I decided it was time to move on and onto something new, so I listed the channel for sale. To my surprise, it was bought pretty quickly, and I was pretty happy with the price too. I sold it for around £1,200, which is about $1,600. So between ad revenue and the sale of this channel, I'd made around £3,000 in total. When the money for the sale came through, it felt great. More time and more money. But once the initial buzz wore off, the reality hit. I now had no job, no income, and no reason to get out of bed. The only project I had was a hiking and camping channel I had been running for the last year and a half. But it wasn't even monetized, so it was purely a passion project, and it didn't take up much of my time. When you have no job and no responsibilities, every day becomes the weekend. At first, that felt like a dream. I remember as soon as I quit, I booked a trip to Slovakia with my friend, £200 for 4 nights. It felt like complete freedom, no responsibilities. So I did what every 23-year-old would do. I celebrated, maybe a bit too hard though. And the party didn't stop when I came home. I found myself drinking more and more. 60 days after quitting my job, I realised I'd had a drink on over half of them days. I wouldn't say I was an alcoholic, but I knew something had to change. I was having fun, but I wasn't fulfilled. I was making no progress in life. Over summer, I decided to take a month and a half off of drinking. I swapped nights in the pub for playing tennis until sunset, and honestly, I loved it. I didn't miss drinking at all. Waking up fresh and clear-headed was unbeatable. Admittedly, since I have gone back to drinking, although I'm very careful to only drink a few times a month now. It's all about balance. Too much of one thing and you'll be unhappy. That was the first thing that freedom taught me. You need to make rules for yourself, because no one else is gonna. And if you don't have any, it's easy to lose control. Freedom without discipline is chaos. Before quitting, I told myself I'd have so much time to improve my outdoors YouTube channel. More videos, better quality, more ideas. Right? Wrong. I actually got less done than when I worked full time. When you're in a job you hate, you have the motivation to build something to escape it. But when you have no job and no financial pressure, it's easy to become complacent. There's no fire under you, no urgency, and comfort turns into laziness. When your back's not against the wall, it's easy to lay on the sofa. And yeah, laying on the sofa all day sounds nice, but it made me more stressed than having a job. I had millions of ideas for projects, but most never made it past a Google document. There was no one coming to tell me to get on with work. It was me against me, and I was losing. For me, that feeling of losing when you are the only one responsible for it is worse than going to a job you dislike. You feel guilty, stuck, lazy, like you've let yourself down. Here's something I had to learn the hard way. Having no discomfort is a form of discomfort. You'd think endless freedom would make you happy, but for me, and I think a lot of people, it does the opposite. In fact, it can actually start to make you more unhappy the longer it goes on for. When you remove all discomfort from your life, the good things stop feeling good. No more contrast. No more dopamine spikes, just flat. Imagine happiness as a line graph. As you go through your day and your life, the line goes up and down as you come across struggles, but then also have moments of pleasure. Maybe it's going out with your friends or having a few drinks on the weekend. If you remove the dips of discomfort, the highs then fade too, because the highs are relative to the lows. And if everything's on a high, then it's all just the same. It's not high anymore because there's nothing lower than it, and there's also nothing higher than it. And you're just left with a flat line as you struggle to enjoy activities you once loved. Remove the struggle and you also remove the joy. As I became aware of this, it actually made me more unhappy as I realised that things I used to do that made me happy were not really hitting the same. So what did I do? For a while I would just lay in bed, feeling stressed, knowing I should be doing something, but doing nothing about it. Eventually, I realised I needed structure, some kind of discipline, not because someone told me to, but because I wanted to. It was necessary for me to get out of this hole I'd created. It took me 9 months before I came to this realisation. Previously, I'd get random bursts of motivation for 1 or 2 days, but most days I just drifted doing nothing, just passing time. It started small, read a few pages of a book every day, get outside every day, meditate every day, eat less sugary food. The time spent doing these didn't matter. It was about creating the habit. I'd worry about the quantity later. The goal right now was to create as little resistance as possible for each habit I wanted to start. I'll be honest, I didn't always feel like doing it, but it made me feel a lot better than sat there doing nothing. I'm no expert, I still have a long way to go. Up until a few weeks ago, most days I'd only managed to do 1 or 2 hours of real focused work. But that's a huge leap from where I was last year. In the last few weeks, I have been able to increase this to 3 or 4 hours of focused work every day. I plan to keep on making progress like this because that's what makes me happy, even if I don't want to do it in the moment. Going out once a day turned into 6,000 steps a day, which is now over 10,000 steps a day. Meditating for 1 minute became meditating for 6 or 7 minutes. Reading 2 pages a day that felt so much like a chore is now easy. I get through 5, 6, 7 or even 8 pages a day and actually enjoy doing it. None of it felt massive at the time, but over weeks, these habits gave me something that endless freedom didn't. Fulfillment. Even when I woke up and the last thing I wanted to do was go outside for a walk. It's raining outside. It's horrible. It's cold. But after I did it, I felt so much better. Here's another truth no one tells you. Having no stable income is stressful. A 9 to 5 can be pretty bad, but at least it gives you consistency. You know that if you turn up there, you're going to get the same paycheck every single month. But when you're working for yourself, income can vanish overnight. And early on, you do a lot of work for almost no pay. You really have to love the process because the money does not come very quickly. Currently, my only income source is my outdoors channel, but this is volatile and still a very small sum of money. After getting monetized in September last year, I made around £60 on my first month, but the next month was only half of that. Since the beginning of the year, I've managed to bring this up a little, and so far I've probably averaged around £100 a month. But the volatility and constant stress of needing to get views so you can make more money is definitely not for the faint-hearted. Sometimes you can throw everything you have got at a video and spend hours on it just for it to do terrible. But that's just part of the game. I quit my job hoping that freedom would fix everything. It didn't. In fact, it made me realise that structure and struggle are actually part of happiness, not the opposite of it. Now I'm trying to go forward with this in mind. My hiking channel's finally earning a little bit. This new channel, well, I'm just getting started here. But importantly, I enjoy doing it. If you're thinking of quitting your job, I'm not saying don't do it, but don't expect it to fix all your problems. Freedom isn't the finish line. It's just the start of a harder, more personal journey. And for the first time in a long time, I'm actually enjoying the struggle. It's up to me to build my life, decide what direction it goes in. No one's gonna do that for me. If you enjoyed or found this relatable, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to drop a sub. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.